So when we talk about integrations through web services, okay, what exactly integration through web services is? See, in organizations in today's world, if we see all about data transactions, right? So customer want this is my data. It exists in system one. I want this to be available in system two for maybe reporting purpose, or for maybe my end users are more interacting with that tool and we want this data to be available there, or my support team is working on ServiceNow itself. So I want all the tickets or all the issues coming through multiple channels or multiple tools should all go to the service now. So these kind of things happens in the real time scenarios where client is using kind of multiple channels because there are multiple departments or multiple divisions. They are having their own sort of tools basically in that their individual users are creating issues, problems, or many other things. But as in global practice or organization wide, they are providing support to all those divisions through ServiceNow only. So all the support users, being it Linux, Windows, or any other kind of support users, are only on ServiceNow. So you may end up integrating all those divisional tools with ServiceNow, so that as soon as some user from those divisions create a ticket in service in those individual or division based tools or department based tool, they should trigger an incident or a problem or any kind of record in service now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me till here?
When you say division of, I did not get that actually.
Department, maybe you may, it's just
Uh-huh.
department. Division means like a company have HR division, or like
Uh-huh.
many other kind of they are dealing with energy, they are dealing with gas. In energy they
Yes.
are dealing with like electricity, they are dealing with gas based electricity as well, and many other. So their division could be like gas division, their another division could be kind of electricity division, right? So all those
Yes.
divisions might be using a different tool or might be using a similar tool. So, but organization wide, that company is providing support through ServiceNow. Or maybe a scenario can arise where your company, okay,
Uh-huh.
you are acting as a service provider to all the companies. Like you provide Linux services, you provide Windows services, you provide Unix services, you provide many other services like SharePoint services, or it could be like Amazon Cloud Web Services, Google Cloud Web Service, or any kind of web service. These kind of technologies, these are something, there are many players which provide these specific areas. So like if customer is every organization is going to have thousands of laptops, thousands of Windows machines, all those things, right? But they need support
Mhm.
as well. One way of the business, everyone has their own support, but another way is they outsource the support, right?
Yes.
Now, what happens? The customer, which is having these laptops, Windows, or servers, he outsource their support of these. Like if someone having a issue in Windows machine, they need to reach out to vendor X. If someone is having
Okay.
issue in their kind of Linux machine or Linux server, they need to reach out to vendor X, because vendor
Yes.
X is providing the services. So let's say as an employee, there could be
Mm-hmm.
your colleagues as well, like multiple employees could be there, right? So everyone is having issue, to whom they are reaching, vendor X.
Yes. For example, in my case, infrastructure is being provided by some other vendor.
Yeah, that's where it could be. So now let's say
Yes.
you are using a service now, which is your
Yes.
organization is specific, right?
Hmm.
Now the vendor is also having a service now
Hmm.
in which their users exist.
Right.
Getting my point? Your organization, your user table is having users which belong to your organization. However, your vendor service now is also there, which has all their users, and for you they are acting as a support users,
Yes.
right? Now as an individual, as an employee of the company, if you are facing an issue, ServiceNow is provided as a support tool to you, where you will go and create the ticket in your ServiceNow
Uh,
instance, right?
yes. Yes.
But assume the situation where vendor support users provide the tickets, provide the support on the ticket which are created in their ServiceNow.
Right.
There could be two business scenario. One, vendor users and employer users both exist in the same instance which is provided by
Yes.
employer. Another
Yes.
scenario, employer has its own ServiceNow and vendor has its own. The second scenario, if we consider, you created incident in your system. Now it need to go to vendor system. Then only it will be assigned to a vendor person, and that vendor person will provide you support. Right?
Yes.
That means what is happening here? Thing happening here is the ticket or data need to go to another tool, and once the ticket is closed in that tool, the update should come in your tool, then only you will be notified.
Yes.
So this is where, when you need to send the data between two tools, the integration comes into the picture.
Yes.
Okay, I hope you are clear with this basic definition. Basic, it's not definition, it's kind of a, I was trying to
Concept.
concept or understand the
Yeah.
scenario where you decide to go through integration based on web
Yes.
services.
Yes.
Now, HTTP based, so we are talking all HTTP based web services, SOAP and REST. Allow, that's what we discussed, that is what written here in the PPT. Like, HTTP based web services allow diverse applications to talk to each other. So if you try to understand what we discussed, this line is saying same, right?
Which line?
ServiceNow, the first line, are you able to see my PPT?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's what I am talking about, this first line.
Right. Right. Right.
HTTP based web services allow diverse applications to talk to each other. So that's what we
Yes.
discussed till now. In different
Yes.
scenario, how you can make use of these HTTP based web services.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming to ServiceNow capability in terms of web services, ServiceNow supports both. That is called inbound, outbound. Now, this is very important point. Let's focus on this.
Okay.
Inbound is something when data is going to come to you. Okay, there is a tool,
Mm-hmm.
your employer tool and vendor tool. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you will be acting, being an employer tool, you will be acting as an inbound if some data is going to come to you.
Right.
Okay, and when you are going to act as an inbound, outbound, when you are going to send data to someone. So in
Right.
each integration, there will be a tool which will be acting as an inbound and another will be acting as a outbound.
Right.
Now, inbound is called as provider and outbound is called as consumer. Try to remember these points because it's you will see the importance later on this part. How we define who is
Mm-hmm.
going to be the consumer and who is going to be the provider. It's not about data. We in general we
Mm-hmm.
assume like data. It's about
Okay.
who is going to publish the web service.
Mm-hmm.
You That's what we are trying to understand, right? So web services, something like there would be a tool in between two which is going to share their API that will be consumed by another to send the data.
Web services is it something in between these two applications?
Yes, web service is a generic concept. It's not related to service now anything. It's a generic concept to integrate two systems. Now web
So
services
some
has
middle
two.
component, right?
It's a kind of protocol. It's not any
Okay.
middle component. It's just a protocol like you have Java. It's not
Yeah.
protocol. It's not like MEDIC component. It's a language which enables you to do kind of a scripting. Similarly, web services is a kind of a protocol which enables you to integrate two systems. So basically both systems are going to support these web services. Then only integration is feasible. First and
Oh.
foremost point. Okay. Now, when there is an integration between two systems, so what happens? One system is going to publish the web service. What does that mean, publish the web service? That means the system who is going to publish the web services in high level language, if I say, they are going to provide a URL and a user ID to the consumer.
Mhm.
If you
Okay.
know little bit, they generally uh, a tool generally provide a URL and
Hmm.
a credential. So that URL is nothing, that is the web services, logic written behind that URL. So once some other tool will hit on that URL using those credential with some content which will be said by okay, you need to send this content with this URL, that tool which is publishing that URL will pick all those details and it will process that data through code. That is what is the
Hmm.
web service.
Okay.
So always between two, there is going to be one as a provider, another one as a consumer. So
Mm-hmm.
try to remember this inbound and outbound based on publisher and consumer. Publisher of
But
API. Yeah.
if suppose I am integrating with some remedy tool,
Mhm.
example for of
Mhm.
other vendor. Okay,
Mhm.
I have ServiceNow, and I will suppose act as an inbound, right?
Mhm.
Inbound is something that which I am going to receive from remedy,
Yeah.
correct? But
Mhm.
I think I will also act as an outbound, right? If I
No.
just
No.
why?
Yeah.
Because
Go
I
ahead. Go
also
ahead.
need to I need to
Send the
send
update.
some messages, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what that is first thing. First thing, there are two integrations. If you bifurcate them,
Acha.
there are two parts.
Hmm.
One is remedy to ServiceNow, another is ServiceNow to remedy.
Okay, not one integration.
Yeah, it's one integration, but technically there are two. So
Okay. Oh.
that's where is you need to that's why you need to understand this properly. Now, if you will not understand, you will see, okay, this is the integration. What you will see, like I have given the URL, through that only everything is not going to happen. No, that's
Mm-hmm.
not the case. Then you have to split in two things. One is ServiceNow to remedy, and another is remedy to ServiceNow. When it's going to be ServiceNow to remedy, then
Hmm.
remedy is going to be the provider.
When
Basically,
service now to remedy.
yes. Then remedy is going to be the provider. That means they will publish a web service and ServiceNow will be outbound, or consumer will be consuming that web services to send the data from ServiceNow to Workday. And when it will be Workday to ServiceNow, let's say Workday is sending some data to ServiceNow, ServiceNow is going to be the inbound and inbound or provider, and remedy is going to be the outbound or consumer. In this case, ServiceNow need to publish the URL. So basically what is happening, both
But you
tools,
mentioned workday. So is it remedy or workday?
any tool, and you can take any
Uh-huh.
tool. So like any third party tool.
Okay.
So maybe I pick some
Yeah, yeah,
other
yeah.
tool. So
Right.
that's where, so in this scenario where remedy and ServiceNow is there, if you are doing
Hmm.
two-way integration, then both
Hmm.
tools are going to act as inbound as well as outbound in
Correct.
different scenarios. So that
Yes.
means both tool need to publish their API as well as both need to consume the API of other.
Okay.
Why it is important to understand, okay, before starting the integration, you need to define who is going to be the provider and who is going to be the consumer. Why it is important? Because based on that, responsibilities will be defined on the teams. Okay, if you are going to be the provider, share the API details. That is going to be the, in high level language endpoint, we will cover the URL. When you will go to the SOAP and WSDL, they are termed as something different. Let's use that right now as a URL. So whosoever between two is going to be the inbound or provider need to share the API detail, that is URL, content, what they want to accept, plus user credential for authentication.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a one-way integration, that means Remedy is sending data to ServiceNow and there is no link when there is an update on that ticket in ServiceNow and it's going to the
Mm-hmm.
service, then just Remedy is going to be the outbound, like consumer, and ServiceNow is going to be the publisher.
I'm little confused when you're saying there is an integration from Remedy to ServiceNow. Okay, I mean Remedy is sending data, right, to ServiceNow, right? Then how can Remedy will become consumer since he is sending, right? He should be provider, right?
That's where I said at the initially, don't judge it by data or don't go on the data. The definition is based on who is publishing the API and who is consuming the API.
Okay, if it is from Remedy to ServiceNow, then we need to understand who is publishing that web services.
Yes. See,
so how we will identify that?
That is where, like, if you need to get the data from Remedy, then you need to tell Remedy where to send the data, right? If, let's say in general, if you want an apple from me, okay, if you are saying just give me an apple, now okay, I will give you the apple, but you will have to tell where you live, okay, how will I access
what is
the
my address,
location, and where I need to put.
Okay.
Without that, will I be able to give you apple?
I need to publish the web services in that
Obviously,
case.
you need to give me something where I will take an example of a kind of online delivery service. You ordered something, you want something from some online delivery services,
Amazon.
anyone, and okay, you ordered, they are ready to give you, but to get that to your place, you need to tell them something, right? Where is your home? How will you access the, even if like they reach to your society, then maybe you need to authenticate them, then only they will come inside, right?
Okay.
So that is the web service, in terms of, that is the kind of API. So first thing, you want the data from Remedy, but to send it, the Remedy is ready to send, but you need to tell the place.
I need to tell.
Yes, you need to tell in which table it will go. What now, when you log into ServiceNow, is it allowed direct when you put the URL? Are you able to see everything?
No.
It asks you the credential. The similar thing. It's kind of, it's just virtual, or it's just happening automatically. It's similar to what you are doing manually. So when Remedy will come to ServiceNow and try to insert a data in a particular table, or that in case of integration, ServiceNow will ask credential with Remedy as well. Otherwise, anyone can come and insert the data in your table.
Right.
So that is what is the web service. You need to publish a URL that will be a kind of a lot of things written behind that code, and you need to tell the content, okay, what you are going to accept, that you need to give to Remedy, then a URL for the authentication. So if you are going to, so again, the situation change if you want the data in real time.
Okay.
See where incidents are getting created. Now you are clear with inbound or outbound, right?
Yes.
So inbound is always who is publishing the web services, not who is accepting the data.
Okay. Yeah, now it is clear. I mean, who are publishing? ठीक है, inbound. ठीक है.
So whoever is publishing the web service is going to be the inbound, and whoever is going to the consume that service is going to be the outbound. So in every integration, most of the time, like if it is not scripted, then outbound person need to do more work to send that data, because they need to get it from some tables and all those things and put it there. Inbound one just need to share some URL if they are using direct web service. We will go in detail. So if it is a two-way, then both of them going to be the inbound, right? You got that part, because if again you need to send update on incident from ServiceNow to your remedy, then remedy need to now tell, okay, where you want me to send that detail.
Yes.
So in that case, remedy now need to publish the API to get those updates. So that's why you need to bifurcate it, because both are going to act as an API. That's where, if you are going to be the solution person, you need to tell, and you need to tell the responsibilities of both the team, or like, or even if you are ServiceNow lead or ServiceNow person, then you need to tell, okay, in this particular scenario, I need this from you, and in this particular scenario, I will give this to you. Okay, I think you are clear with inbound and outbound.
Yes.
Now coming to that's what here is written. Provider will share the endpoints or WSDL, the URL which I am talking about. They are termed as endpoint and WSDL. So in case when you are using REST, it will be called as endpoint. That URL will be called as endpoint. And in case of SOAP, it will be called as WSDL, WSDL.
Okay.
Just URL, but in terms of kind of web services terminologies, they are called as endpoint as REST in REST, and SOAP they are called as WSDL. And with both of these, you need to provide authentication details.
Credentials.
Yeah, it could be credential, it could be other type of authentication. So then we got in ServiceNow, we as a provider, when we act as a provider, we support three types of web services. That is called direct web services. Second one is import set web services. And third one is the scripted web services. Direct is something, let's say you need to integrate incident. So remedy, when an incident is going to create in remedy, you want that incident to be in ServiceNow. So where your incident are in ServiceNow?
Incident
table, right? Now, in ServiceNow, most of the tables support the API web services. So I said you need to share the endpoint in case of REST. So if you are going to share the endpoints always belong to a table in ServiceNow. Okay, it's something similar to like URL of that table. So if you are going to share that URL of that target table, that is incident, directly with the consumer, that is called as the direct web services. Now import set web services, as you know, we can use import set or transform map, right? So what we do, we create a intermediate table, basically
staging table.
Yeah, and from all the data comes into that table, and from there you transform it to the target table.
Yes,
that is called as import set web services.
Okay.
Scripted web services is something you this is not any table, it's just you write a whole scripted code. Basically you are not able to give URL of both of the table, because both of our have bit of limitations that I will explain to you. Then it's kind of fully custom scripted. Everything you need to write from scratch. That is scripted. Next, consumer will consume the endpoints, as we discussed, or WSDL in case of SOAP, and authentication details, and the configure the outbound message to do the operations allowed by provider API. When ServiceNow act as consumer, it supports outbound REST and outbound SOAP, both the protocols of the web services. Okay. If we move to next, as I said, we have two protocol in web services. That is REST and SOAP. It is nothing specific to ServiceNow. It's generic industry-wide in web services.
Okay.
ServiceNow also supports those. So REST, representational state transfer. It's not specific to ServiceNow. It's already there. Like Java is there. Similarly, REST protocol is.
If you go back to the previous slide, you mentioned there are three type of web services, right? Direct, import set, and scripted. So where this REST fall into?
All three can be done through REST.
Acha, okay.
All three can be done through SOAP. So those are protocol to talk, and these are methods.
Okay.
So basically, you can understand, like, see, if I talk, you can design a website in .NET and Java both. Similar to that. So you can do all these three things through REST and SOAP. Both are kind of, you can take it as a different languages. So some tools, sometimes what happens, some tools only support REST, some tool sometimes only support SOAP. So if you are getting integrated with a tool which is just supporting the SOAP, then you cannot use REST from ServiceNow side. From ServiceNow side also you need to use the SOAP, because until unless both will be on the same platform, they are not going to understand each other. Right?
Okay.
So that provides standards between computer system on the web, making it easier for the communicate each other. The same things. I think it allows you to create, read, update, and delete operation, because again, we have in tables, we just either insert a data or we read the data and pick it, or we delete the data in target system, the same thing. Then this is how our endpoint look like in ServiceNow. Okay, this is something which is your endpoint going to look like.
So we just need to change the table name here.
Yeah. So it's more or less URL, but we called it as an endpoint.
Yeah, right.
Then coming to SOAP, the same again, it's a different protocol provided. Then we can do read, write, and delete operations from here as well. And this is how your WSDL is going to look like. The table name dot do, and then question mark, and then at last you need to write WSDL.
Which one of these two are used mainly?
Both.
REST or SOAP? Both.
Nowadays, if you will see most of the time, like REST is getting used, but you cannot say like that. It depends. But both tools are going to support, and what is decided to integrate with them. Coming to next thing, REST API Explorer. So REST API Explorer is something. Did you heard about Postman?
Postman, I mean the general?
No. It's a tool which is basically which is basically used to kind of test your API, whether it's working properly or not, before sharing it with like end customer and the tool.
Okay.
So REST API Explorer, let me show it in the system. So again, it used to test your API. It again gives you flexibility to kind of generate these endpoints as well. So if you will type here REST, then you will see this REST API Explorer. ServiceNow has already provided a lot of APIs, table APIs. First is table API. That was, we were talking about the direct web services. So let's say you need to integrate through direct web services. Then you can make use of the table API, and it will give you the options. Okay, what you want to do in this table API. First thing, you need to select the table. For which table you want to use this table API. Let's say you want to integrate problem. So you can select problem table here. And then what you want, if you want a record should be allowed, like record creation should be allowed to the third party system, then you can use post.
Yes, post means create a record,
Yeah.
right?
And then if they basically want to insert the data, get the data from your table, then you can use get. So basically based on what is your requirement, you are going to select this table, and then your method is going to be there. So if you will select a table, let's say problem, and I am going to say sorry, I am going to create a problem. So you need to share the endpoint. Now I have selected my table, and then here what I can do, I can build my like what exactly data I want to feed in the problem. So I will say sort description is test, and then I will say, let's say,
Okay, so this will create a problem record in another system, right? Application.
no, in your system only.
In my system.
It's going to help you when you are going to act as a provider. So you, in case of provider, you need to send the endpoint, right? Share the endpoint. So how will you generate those endpoints? And
So
how
we are
will you
generating
test?
endpoints here.
Yeah, and how will you test whether your web service is going to work or not when they are going to use the same?
Okay, okay.
So what I did, I selected the table. Okay, I just want to create the problem record to third party tool, and then these are the two values I am expecting from them when they are creating.
Okay.
Okay, now what you can do, click on send. It is saying, okay, record is created, and this is what it's going to return you. So one thing, if you scroll up here, your method is generated, a method is there, like it's saying your third party tool is going to use post method, need to use post method, and this is the URL which you need to share with them, and this is the content which you need to share with them. And
so the endpoint will become the concatenation of these two.
No, this is the method you need to separately share. Like if you see its method, they will ask you method as well, and they will ask you the endpoint. So method will be post, endpoint will be this. Then they will ask you the request body or content. Then this is going to be the content which you are going to share. Then they will ask about the content type. Then this is going to be your content type.
Okay.
And here it validates, okay, that means my API is going to work because his problem is getting created. Now again, you want to be sure like what they are going to get in response. So this is what they will get in response.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how you use REST API Explorer. So you can use it for testing your web services which you have designed, or if you are going to use any out of box web service, then you can use if it is working properly or not, and then to generate the endpoints and see whether what is going to be the content. So this is how you use REST API.
But from this REST API Explorer, what we have done is, for example, we need to get the data from Remedy to ServiceNow, for example.
So we are acting, this is acting as a remedy right now here.
This, okay, but we are generating this endpoint, right? I mean, the web services, we are going to provide the web services, right, to them?
Yes. So this is the web service only. So this is the table API web service. So this is basically provided by ServiceNow by default. You need not to write any code, nothing.
Right, right. So what will happen once we share these web services to the third party tool, then they will use these web services to share the data in our tool, right?
Yeah, they will be able to create the records in your table directly
in our table, in our system.
Yeah, in incident table.
Okay.
So basically this REST API Explorer here right now acting as a remedy, you can understand, because the same thing now remedy is going to do and not the REST API Explorer.
But then what extra we will get it from remedy? I mean, if we are only doing all these things.
Means I am not getting.
If suppose there is an incident created in remedy, ultimately we need that record to be reflected in our system, right?
Yes.
So if we are giving all that information, I mean the short description and test, then how we are going to get those things?
Remedy is going to replace this test with XY, whatever.
Acha. Okay. Got it. Corresponding record that we need, right?
Obviously, see, this is
Yeah.
fixed text. You are giving them a sample. This should be
Okay.
like this. This should be like this. Now replace this value, whatever actual record is going to have.
Whatever the record is created at their end, so that will be created in our system after this integration runs.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
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 This is REST API Explorer. Yeah, then I think this is the basic things. If you have any doubts in these things, you can go ahead and ask.
So this, like this REST API Explorer, do we also have SOAP Explorer?
No.
Or
no, you have to use. There is a SOAP UI tool that will you have to use.
So what is the main purpose? I mean, suppose if we need to set up an integration with XYZ tool, the first step would be to go to this REST API Explorer and give them the web services details.
No, first step is to identify who is going to be the provider, who is going to be the consumer.
Yeah, let's say, I mean, we are going to put the provider of the web services and we are going to get the data from them.
Yeah.
So in that case, we will come here and build this this endpoint.
Yeah.
And other details.
Yeah. Okay. And you will share it. In case of if you are able to use the table API.
Table API, how we will know that if I'm going to use or not?
Maybe I think we will cover in that, but let me give you a gist. If we talk about ServiceNow have incident table, and in that incident table you have some fields, right? In the caller field, what value caller field will accept?
In the caller field,
username, right? But when you create it through a script, what exactly it accepts? SysID, I think.
SysID, right?
Because it's a reference field.
Yes.
Now, integration is something I script. Through script, that record in ServiceNow is going to insert through table API. Now, when they are going to send the incident, they need to send the caller as well, right?
Send to the caller as well, yes.
For that caller, they need to send the SysID of the caller.
Yes, right.
But do they have?
Don't know.
No, they are not going. SysID is specific to ServiceNow. So when you
create right, they don't have it. Yes,
they don't have. They won't be able to send.
If other system is also ServiceNow, then it will be possible.
Maybe if the users, same users exist in their tool as well with the same SysIDs.
Okay.
So because in direct API, you are not going to intercept that data which they are going to send. ServiceNow it's kind of directly record is going to insert in the table. You will not be able to convert, transform anything in the data. When you just
it will be directly updated.
Yeah, that's why import set web services then comes into the picture, where the data is coming to your import set table, and then you will transform that in ServiceNow language, and then it will go to ServiceNow tables. So
mainly do we use that import set?
Or it's not most of the time, direct web services you will see used rarely. They are mostly used when you are calling them within the ServiceNow.
I mean, the other system is also ServiceNow.
Not ServiceNow. If you are writing a script in ServiceNow and you may need to make use of web service, then you can. Because all the data you will find in the same system.
Okay.
Again, import set is good because you are not exposing your target table to the third party system.
Correct. So there is a staging table in between.
Yeah, because it might be risky if like someone tries to attack your target table and all data is gone, all those things.
Okay.
So
And is it easy to?
Mostly we try to go through this import set. Otherwise, if again import set has certain limitation which we will cover further, then we move to scripted.
Okay. Fine.
See, everyone has limitation. As I explained, direct is going to have some limitations which we have seen just now through this example. Then we move to import set. Then import set is again going to have some limitations. Then we will move to scripted.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have any?
And is it easy to connect with two ServiceNow instances to integrate, or is it something still need to be?
Sam, it's nothing easy. Means it could be easy in
It's
terms
same
of like
only,
you know that tool better, so it might be easy to write the code, easy to understand what it is going to accept, what it is not going to accept. But apart from that, yes, one need to act as inbound, another one need to act as outbound. Outbound need to write that code to pass those fixed value with the dynamic content. All those things will be there.
Okay. Fine. I think then I can go through this today and we can connect tomorrow, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.